What's up, guys? It's Mr. Fit to Flourish, and today I wanted to talk about four things that I wish I knew when I started trading. So, if I had to start all over again or tell myself what I was missing or what I needed to pay attention to when I first started trading, I would tell myself these four things, and that would be volume, supply and demand, averages, and finding an edge or a setup. So, starting off with volume, the first thing I would tell myself to pay attention to is hey, you need to understand volume profiles, volume RSIs, reading level two, or looking at volume footprints, or just a plain volume indicator. You need to understand that volume moves the markets. Volume tells us how many people are buying and selling a security, and you need to understand how that affects your stock or your security. The number two thing that I would talk about to myself is supply and demand. Hey, fit to flourish, go take a basic economics course. That's what you need to do. Take a basic economics course and understand how supply and demand affects the market. So things to pay attention to would be areas of supply and demand, areas of support and resistance. Also, you want to be paying attention to where stocks are overbought or oversold. Again, that comes into the basics of supply and demand. The way you can kind of gauge this type of stuff too, using technical analysis and indicators, would be to use indicators known as oscillators. Oscillators are sometimes known as leading indicators, and they can give you an indication of where stocks are overbought and oversold, and you could typically see reversals in this area in the security at areas of supply and demand, support and resistance. Literally the same thing, but these are major concepts to understand. Now, other things that can give you insight into how far a stock can move would be things like ATRs and ADRs, so average daily ranges and average true ranges, which tell you how far you can anticipate a stock moving based on its previous history of price action. Now, the next thing I would talk about would be averages. So, need to understand when you're doing technical analysis, you need to understand moving averages and averages in general. So, stocks like to tend to do a what's called a mean reversion, which is when they come back to the average price or come back to moving averages, and they do that when they get a little bit overbought or oversold. We tend to do what's called a mean reversion, going back to the average price. Okay. Moving averages, I would recommend the exponential moving average, EMAs, as opposed to SMAs. The EMAs use one extra data point that more accurately shows the average price. SMAs are fine as well. You'll just have to do a lot of backtesting using that strategy. Now, finding an edge or a setup is the last thing, but probably the most important thing. So, when it comes to going and trading, putting on trades, you need to come to the market knowing what you're looking for. And the only way you can know what you're looking for is by experience and plenty of back testing. Okay. And understanding that you need a strategy, you need a setup. Now, there's different strategies that you can try to learn, like opening range breakouts. You can use supply and demand strategies. You can use order block strategies, retest strategies, MA crossovers, and VWAP crossovers. Now, all of these are perfectly fine, but you need to find the one that fits your personality. Okay, you can use ICT concepts, SMC concepts, any strategy. All strategies work. I always say that all strategies exist because all strategies work. Now, you need to find something that fits your personality and on a specific time frame that you like to trade on. You need to back test it, and it needs to be something that is just an easy layup. Okay, so a lot of the times people try to take three pointers. Okay, I'm using a basketball analogy. Three pointers are harder to make, while layups you just bounce the ball off of the backboard. Now your trades need to look more like layups, where you just bounce it off of the backboard and it goes into the basket, and you make easy money. So you need something that when you trade it, it's very easy to do and you make money easily. It might not be as large as those three pointers that you like to take, but the more three pointers you miss, the more shots or the more points that you're missing out on. So when it comes to these stocks, you need to be able to have a layup, an easy layup type of play. So for me, that's going to be MA crossovers at key levels. And I'll talk about this in another video. But again, these are the four things that I wish I knew when I first started trading, or that I wish I paid attention to. Aside from fundamental analysis, technical analysis is awesome. And using volume, supply and demand, moving averages, and having an edge or a setup by knowing what I'm looking for when I come to the market is extremely important. I hope this helps someone out there who's starting to trade. Pay attention to these things, really dive in, and I hope you have a good one. Until next time.